Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us. You should come in muted. And we just ask that you stay that way until it is time for Q&A, and then you could raise your hand, potentially do a question. Probably. We're going to go ahead and get started so we give Divyam plenty of time. If we haven't met, my name is Amanda Henley. I'm your host for our virtual user group series, and today we are talking IMS. So thanks for joining us. We meet every other month, and we're excited to have you here. This is going to be a great session. So for our agenda today, we've got just a couple of introductory slides. We've got our presentation, Q&A. We'll follow our presentation, and then we'll have some news and articles for you to check out, and then we will talk about our next session. So let's get started. After today's session, I do want to ask that you complete the exit survey. It's 2 questions. It'll take 2 seconds when you leave. It'll just pop up and ask you what you thought about today's program. And I want to thank our partner, BMC, for sponsoring our virtual user group. They are a provider of innovative solutions that help to optimize performance, security, and modernization. And a little bit of news for us. Planet Mainframe just announced our new editor and producer for the Cheryl Watson tuning letter. So we're excited to have Mark Wilson on board. And if you're not familiar with the tuning letter, check it out. It's an amazing resource. Subscribers get access to 8,500 pages of mainframe strategy and solutions and CPU charts. So it's a great hub of technical information about your mainframe. And there are a ton of satisfied customers, and it is a subscription program. You can see us, Planet Mainframe, at IDUG EMEA in Valencia next week. And then I'll be at GSE UK exhibiting November 4th through 7th. Hope to see you there. And without further ado, let's get on to our session. So today we're talking about how to dynamically manage aspects of your IMS Connect environment without recycling IMS Connect. So Divyam Bhatia is a product developer at BMC Software. He works on the AMI Energizer for IMS Connect program primarily. So with that, I'm going to stop my share so you can take yours over. And you'll just need to unmute.
You're muted.
I
Hello.
think he's working.
Yeah.
Hey,
Am I audible now?
you're audible. I don't see your screen yet. There we go.
I've just shared it.
That's okay. We have a ton of people. It's hard for me to manage my screen. Let me go ahead and pin you so you can be there in Spotlight. Okay. Well, thank you so much for presenting for us today.
Yeah. Thank you, Amanda, for giving me this opportunity to go about to present this. Yeah. Okay. So good morning, good noon, good evening to everyone. Today we would be discussing on how to dynamically manage the aspects of the IMS Connect environment without recycling IMS Connect. So essentially, the slide would be divided into major 4 sections. I hope my slides are changing well. No issues on that.
Yes.
Okay.
That's great.
Yeah. So the first topic that we would be discussing is how do messages get into and out of IMS, and how do clients interact with IMS Connect itself. So this will be covered under IMS Connect workflow. And after that, we would be just creating and reloading exits, of course, without reloading the IMS Connect. And how it is done via the Energizer product that BMC has. Then we have the other option of having a workload governor. We will discuss everything in detail. This is just a simple brief that I just wanted to give. And the Energizer product does come with some UI interface as well. So we would be discussing everything in detail now. Before that, my basic simple introduction. I'm Divyam Bhatia, working as a product developer at BMC Software. If anyone wants to connect with me, these are my QR codes for the LinkedIn and Outlook. Uh, I hope we would be connected after this slide and PPT. Okay, so I'm just starting with the IMS Connect workflow, just to give the components that we have. So we have a client, we have this IMS Connect, we have the IMS, and we have the MPR region, that is a message processing region, in which the message processing program runs. So essentially, when we go ahead and start to send the messages, so here the flow will start with the event ID 0008, if you can see it in the MPRs section, which represents the start of the message processing region. That's how it starts. And then we are ready to receive the messages from the client itself. After that, the client will send the message via the TCP IP port. You see this box near to this client. And the message that IMS Connect will expect is should start with a 4 byte total message length, followed by the actual message, that is the IRM header, IMS request header. This is IMS request message header, essentially. And then we have the data segment. So once that happens, it reaches the socket. Uh, the 3C event ID will tell me that it is preparing for socket read, and 49 event ID will tell me that the socket read has been done. After that, the message will enter the user message exit with the event ID of 3D. So each message that is received by IMS Connect is processed by a user message exit that you see this box. And this routine will translate or format the messages so that it is in a format that is acceptable to IMS itself. Once that's done, we move on, and the read function is invoked through the user message exit. And once that's done, the user message exit is returned through the event ID 3E. So essentially, between this 3D and 3E, the message gets formatted into a IMS readable format, not the client readable format. Once that's done, uh, the message is sent to OTMA via the cross-coupling facility XCF. You see this here, XCF OTMA. And after that, once the message enters the IMS, essentially, we would not be discussing this in detail because of the time. So once this enters, it enters to the IMS through event ID 1. After that, it enters the message queue with event ID 35. Then it goes through the MPR. There are different event IDs here, 560731. We will not be discussing this in detail. Our focus is once it comes back to the IMS Connect, how the messages are being processed. Once that's done, it returns to the message queue via the event ID 3. Once that's complete, it returns from the message queue into IMS with event ID 31. And after that, it enters the IMS Connect region via the event ID 42. 42 represents message that was received from OTMA after the processing happens. Once these messages are processed, IMS Connect will receive the messages through OTMA. That's what we see in this box. So any transaction or any communication that happens between IMS Connect and IMS goes through the OTMA here. Once that's done, it will the processed message will enter with event ID 3D into user message exit again. And because initially we had done this 3D and 3E read functions, the messages were formatted in a format where IMS can read it. Now when we are sending back this to the client, we would want it to be client readable format. And hence the user message exit will invoke the XMIT function that you see in this arrow. And once that's done, the message will turn into a client readable format, and it would be represented by the event ID 3E, that is user message exit returned. Once that's done, the formatted message or the processed message is written back to the socket through the event ID 4A. Once every functionality is complete in IMS Connect, we would send back the response to the client itself. So this will uh, be sent, and the MPR that started with the event ID of 008 will shut down with the event ID of 007 after the whole processing is complete. I hope we are clear on this. If anyone has some questions, we can just discuss it in the QA itself. I hope that would be okay. Okay. So moving on. Now, when we talk about IMS Connect functions through exits, essentially the user message exit that we were seeing here. Essentially, when we are talking about exits, the exit should be written as per IMS Connect, it should be written using assembler, which will require time, skills, also maintaining these exits. And if there are any system disruptions or uh, some issues, the performance would be reduced. We need time, effort, expertise, skills, everything to upkeep these exits. So to solve that problem, the Energizer product gives me an option of going ahead and using these interactive dialog boxes to create the exit. I will just briefly run through this. So this is the virtual exit that I'm trying to create. Here we need to type in the virtual exit name, whatever name the user chooses. After that, we have some different options: activate message routing for this exit, or return a full word message length, allow Energizer extensions, post transaction expiration for all messages. So essentially, this will give me a freedom to go ahead and without actually writing the assembler codes, I will just these interactive dialog boxes, give the name, and the Energizer will create it for me. So this is one interactive dialog box that we were talking about, and this is how we are going ahead and trying to manage things dynamically. Once that's done, we do have some options for dynamically reloading the exits and processing options without recycling IMS Connect. So we can recycle customer exits, security exits, router options, exit configurations, and different things. These are all done through basic commands, which the product has embedded in itself. It's a very simple thing that we just need to go to the panel and give the command number, and that will run. If not, we can simply go ahead and just type down the command, and we will get the same results. I would just be running through these commands one by one. These are very short commands, so I hope this will be okay. Here I am trying to reload my customer exits. After any modifications that have been applied to the customer exit, the changes can be easily reloaded by using this command or typing in the option 10 on the Energizer panel. Uh, After that, we can reload security exits as well. Similarly, we will go about with option 11 or just typing down this command. Once that's done, now essentially Energizer will provide me data store routing or routing simply. So this will redirect the messages to the most suitable data store that is available for processing. This is done to attain the highest amount of efficiency and maximizing the performance and reducing any bottlenecks that we have. So this can be done in two ways, as you can see in the slide. It is done through Affinity Manager, which identifies and directs message with distinct processing characteristics. So essentially, if a set of messages has certain characteristics of processing, it will be sent to the appropriate data store. So essentially, it forms the groups of characteristics, and according to that, it goes about and sends it to the appropriate data set. And then we have the load balancer technique, wherein the messages are routed based on predefined weights within the chosen load balancing method. So essentially, say for example, some message has a load of 100. it will be routed to some data store. If someone has 80, then it will be routed to some different data store. And when we combine these two components, so we essentially get the most efficient and most effective routing, and the messages are processed, as I said, to maximize performance and minimize bottlenecks. So these are the router options that we can reload using the simple command reload options type router, or by typing in option 8. We can also reload the exit configurations. So essentially, this is to reload virtual exits or customer exit for any message ID corrections or customer exit configuration changes. Any corrections that are done to message ID, customer exit configurations, or other components in the exit uh, can be just simply reloaded, and we do not need to restart IMS Connect. So this is done through option 9 in the IMS Connect panel. Now we do have some feature of having an e-group. This is a coupling facility that communicates between different address spaces, such as say MPR or the icon address space or the IMS control region. And this can be used to connect uh, different type of data stores, different type of IMS connects. We will just go through these in detail in the next slides. So essentially, this is the one IMS Connect with multiple data store configurations. So you have this blue box wherein we have the IMS Connect. The red one represents the E group. Energizer runs within the IMS Connect. So essentially, it is a part of IMS Connect. And after that, this IMS Connect is connected to 1, 2, and 3 data store. So essentially, this is one IMS Connect, which is connected with multiple data stores, 1, 2, and 3. This is one kind of configuration. This is generally not used practically. These are simply used in some test environment, or where we have very few data stores to manage, or we have just one single application use. We do not use multiple applications. In these cases, this can be used, although this is rarely used in the product. Now we have this two IMS Connect in the same E group. Again, just to represent, this is one IMS Connect, second IMS Connect, which runs within one E group. This IMS Connect connects to two data stores, 1 and 2, and this IMS Connect connects to third data store. And this is usually used where we just have one single group, E group, to maintain. And it is useful, but not practically useful that much. We do have this to when we just have one single E group. This is the most used one, multiple IMS connects, wherein one IMS connect is a part of one E group and second IMS connect is a part of second E group. And similarly, they are connected to different data stores. A is connected with 1 and 2 in this case. B is connected to 3 and 4 in this case. This is usually used when you require different routing specifications. Say, for example, I need to go ahead and give one message to IMS Connect A, and I want it to be routed to data store 2. And second message I want to give to IMS Connect B and route it to data store 3. So this is where it helps me, because there are different E groups, so I can just go about and decide it for me. Also, this is used where we have single sysplex, that is a whole system wherein we can have different characteristics of message routing. This is how we reload the E group options using option 7, or just simply typing in this command. We can also reload the IMS Connect options. Any changes into IMS Connect options can just simply be reloaded by this. So you have this option of reload options type connect ID. After that, we can reload ODBM configurations as well. So if you change the ODBM options, you must reload the ODBM configuration member. That's the requirement for the changes to take effect. This is usually done when we add or update a target alias, add or update PSP groups, add result groups, add alias routing, or activate ODBM routing. These are the options that we have. Once that's done, we just simply go ahead and reload this ODBM configurations member by going about with option 10. Okay, so now we did talk about some workload governor. So essentially, what does workload governor do, and what is this panel all about? We would just be discussing it in detail. So Energizer will reinforce transaction protection within the IMS system. This will shield against any overload and prevent any disruptions that might occur in an IMS system. The workload governor will allow me for precise control over the volume and frequency of the incoming messages on IMS Connect and efficiently prevent any potential outages that we have. And in any case where these design parameters, these designated parameters are surpassed, the IMS Connect will start to reject messages. This is most essential when we need to prevent outages by preventing any ROG applications or any runaway transactions from overloading the system. So just to go about this screen, so these are the governor options that we have. This is the transaction limit per second. So how many transactions, incoming transactions can be handled per second? So I have maximized this to 1000. We can give any value. Warning threshold, this is the percentage where the warning will be issued that yes, the system is getting overloaded. Uh, we we would be issuing some warning. So in this case, it would be 500, 50% of 1000. The cycle interval in which it should check whether the number of messages have exceeded is 5 seconds for me. So every 5 seconds, it will keep checking that whether the total number of messages that have been received are more than 500. If it is more than 500, it will start to give me warnings. Once that's done, we have low warning limit as well. We can set the low warning limit. So essentially say I have set the transaction limit to 1000 and low warning to 10. Below 10, it will again give me warnings that the number of messages are not appropriate. And then we have this granular governor option, which we write in the proclip member. And we can granularly go ahead and control everything here. Essentially, that is not something that we would be discussing in this presentation, but we do have some granular governor options as well. Apart from that, these are some options that we can activate. Essentially, they are not of much importance for this PPT or this presentation, so we can just simply skip that. If you need more information on leveraging the load governor for availability and stability, you can scan this QR code. We have a BMC page or a channel wherein we upload these videos. You can go ahead and check these videos. This is essentially where we prevent problems from happening in the first place. So essentially, this is a stats summary that we have. If you just see the output of this command, this is the stats summary of the exit. So we can identify the location of a problem, comprehend the transaction workflow, gather the data on peak loads by specifying trace record options, and analyze any statistical information that we have for transactions, exits, and data stores. So I would just be picking this one exit. So this is my exit name. The current rate is 0. The messages per second received are 0. Peak was 0.20. Input messages were 2. Input average is 489. Minimum messages that were received were 451. And maximum size of the message that was received was 528, and it processed with 0 errors. So essentially it will give me all the data for each and every exit, and if any of my exit is going haywire, we can go ahead and check the stats, and we can just narrow down on the problem. So essentially it will prevent any problems from happening in the first place if we keep monitoring these stats. If not, then the second option would be to go ahead and just simply check this and get to the root cause of the problem. So this is the UI part that we have for the Energizer. So essentially, this was done to accommodate more people into the product, because a lot of people in the modern world do not really go about studying mainframe or liking mainframe. So this is something that we came up with. And if you just see this interface, we have added to the capabilities of IMS Connect with this UI. And this can help us analyze any transaction workflow, create graphs, grids, etc. to help users better analyze and prevent any problems from occurring. And this UI also comes with a discovery function, which helps in identifying which IMS Connect address space is up and running and accepting messages from the client. So the green ones that you see here are active IMS connects, and these are inactive. So the green ones would be accepting messages from the client. These would not be accepting messages from the clients. That's one thing to this. Also, we have some basic details. What were the connect options? The name is SP5A icon. What are the e-group options? What are the e-links options? What was the user message exit? ODBM options, routing options, and what IMS it was using at that time. Essentially, if we go about and click the other IMS Connect, we will see the same information based on the output of that IMS. Help panels were integrated at every part of this UI. So this helps with detailed help section, which helps the users to get more information, and it helps the users not to switch between mainframe screens and the IBM documentations. We have all integrated into this. So it's one roof and you have all the solutions here. You can just go about and see the help sections, and this will help the users to go ahead and uh, identify any problems here. We have the section of execute commands. So essentially, if you see, this is the active IMS Connect, and I can execute the commands, also the commands that we saw on the mainframe screen just a few slides back. And this is simply a point and shoot drop downs menu. There is a video that I would play so that we do have the clarity on this. So here, if you see, I'm just simply selecting the command section and selecting the display. We have set and list as well. After that, I'm just simply selecting a keyword group. And once we execute that, you see the output here. And here you also have the option of re-executing the command, copying the data, what was the time and date that this command was run. Also, if you choose to clear this, you can clear this. If not, then you can also see what were the commands that were run on this icon and just check on the outputs again. So essentially with mainframes, usually we cannot see the previous outputs. This will add a feature to see my previous output if I choose not to clear out the screen. Moving on. So we can fetch trace records as well. So we can fetch transaction trace, event trace, energizer command trace, history trace, statistics trace. So this is the output of a transaction trace, which has a sequence number, client ID, user ID, exit, data store, transaction name, and the date and time this was run. This is usually important when we need to check on the statistics and say, for example, some transactions have come to the icon but haven't been processed. We can go about and check this. Again, a simple video of the UI. Just I would want to show this. So we go to this trace section. We click on fetch trace records. Here you see it will give me options of having transaction trace, event trace, or any other trace. It will help me select date and time. Once that's done, we click on apply and we see the output. Essentially, it is the same output that we saw previously. So I would not be going ahead and explaining this. We do have one more option here of searching based on the fields. So say, for example, I want to search this client ID that ends with 208. I can simply type 208 and everything that has a client ID of 208 will be displayed here. That's one more strong feature that we have. Also, you can see the details here. So I just simply clicked one of the trace and I see this message from client, message from IMS, message sent to client, trace records, exit results, data store routing. Also, you can just see the sequence number of that transaction as well. You see this IMS request message header. What were the details? IMS request message header, the detailed view for that. Simply scrolling down to see what information do we get. You have this actual message from the client itself. Also, we can see the message that was from the IMS, actual message sent to client, trace records, exit results, data store routing. So you have all the information present on the UI as well. Moving on. This is the most important and the prominent section on this console, wherein the users are provided with a visual representation of Energizer's message processing. In the event of any system issues, this tab will help me and enable me to proactively mitigate any potential problems that were there. This is also a video. I would just play it around and we can discuss that. So we go to the statistics tab and here we get some options. Transaction summary, data store summary, exit summary. We simply click on exit summary and here you can see the graphs that we have. Message count based on message count, message size and message rate. So you see 100 input messages were there, 100 output messages were there, and this was a part of Java exit. After that, 100 reads were invoked, 100 exits were invoked, and you also have this other exit of sample 0 and you see the total of all these. Also, you can see the message size here. Based on the message size, you have the graph. Input average was 528. Input maximum was 528. Input minimum was 528. And then you can see the output as well. Output average was 372. And then you have based on message rate as well. So the peak was 2.8 on the Java exit. And if you see it peaked at 3 on all the exits. You also see the grid format to this as well if someone wants to see the grid format. Number of errors, response time, date time, peak input rate, peak output rate. You can simply go about and see everything, and you have other options as well. These are simple options and you can just see the charts or the grid format for both of them. If you want to just look into the new user interface, we have more options on the YouTube channel. You can just simply go about and scan this QR. It will land you to the same page. Last, we move on to the Q&A section. So any questions, any doubts, anything that anyone wants to add, it is greatly welcome.
Thank you. And everyone, you're welcome to put your Q&A into the chat, or if you'd like to come off of mute and ask a question directly, that is also fine. We'll give that a couple of minutes. So Alan is asking about the transaction limit and is wondering if that is, if you can talk about that being a per IMS Connect instance or data store.
Uh, I think this doubt was about the governor section. Am I correct, Alan? Yeah, okay. So essentially, it it is regarding the one instance that we have for the IMS Connect. Uh, Brad is asking what is the official name of the BMC product presented today? It is BMC AMI Energizer for IMS Connect. If you want, I can just type that as well in the chat. Thanks, John.
So I had a question, that you, I believe, touched on a little bit, but if someone is assessing the addition of this, what are some of those key factors they really need to focus on to justify a transition?
Uh, could you come again on the question? I did not really get the question.
So if someone is considering adopting this tool, what are
Uh-huh.
the key factors that they need to consider to justify it?
Essentially, it, as I said, that this product will run inside the IMS Connect itself, and it is not a competition or a replacement to any product. It is just enhancing the capabilities of an already existing product. So if you are keen to manage your IMS Connect dynamically, that is one point to that. The second point to that is usually with IMS Connect, we see if we go about and make any kind of changes, we have to go ahead and completely restart the system again with the product that we are talking about today. So we essentially don't need it. It's just a simple run a command and just reload the IMS Connect address space, and it is good to go. So essentially, if you ask me what are the factors that contribute to this product or what are the factors someone should consider. So if you're keen at managing your IMS Connect space dynamically, this is the go-to product for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Alan asked about many-to-many configuration.
Yes, you can have many to many or any kind of combinations. As John mentioned, IMS Connect is pretty flexible on that. So it essentially means you can have any kind of configurations as per the user. Uh, Brad asked one question. So Energizer can replace the direct writing of IMS Connect assembler exits. Essentially, yes, Brad. So it is not saying that we are replacing writing exits. Still, you have the option of writing your own exits. If not, it Energizer will provide you with a powerful tool to go ahead and have virtual exits in your system. So essentially, you will have two kind of exits. One is the customer exit and one is the virtual exit. So if you are noise to say the assembler itself, so we can just go ahead and write a virtual exit, and it will help me to go ahead and without writing any assembler code, I can just have it with me.
Any other questions? All right. Well, if anyone has anything that y'all want to pop up before we leave today, you can go ahead and put that in there. But Divyam, I want to thank you for your presentation today on this tool. Always great to hear about new resources. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again, if I can find the correct button. There we go. And as I mentioned earlier, we're going to have this video and the transcript and presentation available for access on our virtualusergroups.org website or .com website. So you can pull it there and rewatch it later. And before we go, here's a couple of links for you. And Alan, we'll get to your question, I promise. Couple of links for you. A link for the BMC AMI tool. I found an article about moving from IMS to DB2 that I thought was interesting from Craig Mullins. And I want to do a shout out to for Planet Mainframe. If you are interested in writing or being a contributor, we take more than written articles. We love to get other content like video or first person perspective or technical briefs. Would love to talk to you about publishing with Planet Mainframe. Divyam, did you want to see that comment or question about reload options?
Sorry, I was on mute. Just a second. I did not see the question. I would not be sure. Maybe John can take up this question. My initial understanding would be a yes.
Yeah, this is the security exit that you use. I believe so. I haven't worked with the product in a long time, so I'm not. But Alan, we can get back to you on that if you like, and let you know on that. But my initial thought is yes, I believe that is correct. You can there's this if we're talking about the exit in particular, and that's what I think you're talking about. I believe so. And as far as reloading the options, we can reload any of our options. That's not an issue. So if you're changing things related to that, yeah. Security exit. That's what I thought. Yeah, we'll have to get back to you, Alan, on that and let you know for sure. Honestly, I can't remember off the top of my head. I'm sorry about that. We reload all of the exits that we can, and I don't believe, from my memory serves me correctly, I don't believe we left any of them that could not be reloaded. So I believe the answer is yes. Okay.
Thanks, John.
Yeah. So I did put up ways to get involved and connect with Planet Mainframe from our different social media channels. And most of you are, but make sure you're also subscribed to our newsletter for the virtual user groups, and that'll let you know when videos are available as well as our next sessions. So with that, we are done for today. I'd love to let me get you the date for our next session so that we will see you in 2 months on December 10th. So thank you, everyone. And Alan, do you want to drop, you can direct message, but do you want to drop your contact information in so we can get you that answer?
Yeah, thanks, Amanda. That's what I was going to ask him. Or you could just send it to me direct. Oh, that's great. Got it, Alan.
Thank you, Alan.
I'll answer you later today. Okay.
All right, great. Well, Divyam, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for hopping on today, and John for your help too.
Yeah.
All right, you have a great
Thanks,
one.
Amanda.
We
Yeah.
appreciate it. Thank you, Amanda, for hosting us.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
so-